Well, we are 1 week away from the first Republican presidential debate. Former President Trump holds a commanding lead in the nationwide polls, but it's not clear if he will even be on the stage. The latest poll from the early primary state of New Hampshire shows former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in second place, passing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And a brand new poll from the Associated Press and Nork Center for Public Affairs Research found 53% of Americans said they would definitely not support Trump if he were the nominee. An additional 11% say they would not support him. So this is all happening just days after the former president's fourth indictment on charges related to allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Joining us now is Republican National Committee spokesperson Madison Gilbert. Madison, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
Great to have you. So as we head into this debate, the big question, of course, will former President Donald Trump be on that stage? He has said he will not sign the loyalty pledge, as you know, a commitment to support the eventual nominee. What's been the RNC's reaction, and are you anticipating his arrival?
So candidates have until Monday evening to qualify and meet our metrics to be on that stage next Wednesday. So it remains to be seen who ultimately will all qualify. Obviously, President Trump is somebody that we hope will be on that stage. We hope every single candidate that qualifies is on that stage. In so many ways, next Wednesday is really going to be the kickoff of this very exciting primary season and a very important election cycle. And we look forward to our candidates next week being able to present really what's such a different vision and a contrasting vision for America of what we as Republicans have to offer that is so different from what we've seen over the past 2.5 years under the Biden administration and liberal control.
So, Madison, whether Trump makes it or not, this is a pivotal time. DeSantis has had staffing shakeups recently, and now Chris Christie's pulling ahead of DeSantis in New Hampshire. Do you think this debate will be an opportunity for candidates trailing Trump to differentiate themselves in a meaningful way?
Well, we look forward to the primary process playing out. But the one thing that at the RNC we're most excited about is being able to equip whoever comes out successful and victorious at the end of this primary process with every tool that they're going to need to win and to beat Biden next November. And so all of the things that we've put in place in terms of requirements for people to get on that debate stage, I think are an important part of that, because we want these campaigns to show their viability and show their ability to ultimately beat Biden. And so we look forward to them all sharing their ideas. And for people, not just necessarily Republican primary voters, but for voters that'll be out next November that maybe won't be voting in the Republican primaries, to hear their messages, to hear the vision of what we have to offer. And we may see some people that are independents or even Democrats ultimately come over and vote on our side. And that's the goal that we have as a Republican Party.
So I wanted to get your take on another event making headlines. The former president says he'll hold a major news conference on Monday with irrefutable evidence on the Georgia election. This, of course, 2 days before the debate. So what do you make of the timing and the strategy here?
You know, I think the one thing that we're continuing to hear from both Republicans and Democrats all across the country is that for so long, they feel like there's been a two-tier justice system. They feel like, things that many people that are elites do are not they're not treated the same way that we would be treated. If we did the same thing like someone like Hunter Biden did, we'd all be in prison, but he is not. And so people are feeling like it's been a very unfair process, and they're waiting for that to play out and to see what happens with the indictments, whether that be about President Trump or Hunter Biden or others.
And some have disputed those claims, but to your point, in our NewsNation town hall, Vivek Ramaswamy, he discussed the indictments of the former president. Here's what he had to say. We'll play the clip and then come back for a question.
These are politicized persecutions through prosecution. And I say this as somebody who's running in some polls third, in some polls like today second. It would be a lot easier for me if Donald Trump were not in this primary. But that is not how I want to win this election. The way we do elections in the United States of America is that we, the people, you all, get to decide who governs, not the federal police state.
So what's your reaction first to that, Madison?
Well, I think, again, across the country, we see people that are expressing their view on what they view as the weaponization of government. They're seeing prosecutors in these very liberal jurisdictions deciding in the middle of an election cycle to go ahead and put forward these indictments after they had, 2+ years to do so. And again, when you look back at 2000, 2004, 2016, go to our RNC Research Twitter page and see minutes upon minutes upon minutes of Democrats, whether that be in national presidential elections and the Georgia gubernatorial race and many others, denying election results, saying many similar things to what we saw said by Republicans, and we're not held accountable in the same way. So again, people view this as a two-tier justice system. It's something they're frustrated about, and it's something we'll have to watch play out.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.